The opinions expressed on this program represent the viewpoints of individual authors or contributors and do not necessarily reflect those of Troy University.
Hello and welcome to EconVersations. I'm your host, Dr. Dan Sutter of the Johnson Center for Political Economy at Troy University. Haiti has long been one of the poorest nations on the planet. If poverty wasn't bad enough, the nation seems to suffer from natural disasters regularly, as hurricanes and tropical storms often strike the island. And then in 2010, a devastating earthquake killed tens of thousands of Haitians. Not surprisingly, Americans and others from developed nations often want to lend a helping hand to Haiti to try to help fix the nation's problems and its seemingly permanently broken economy. But does this help sometimes do more harm than good? Can developed nations generally end poverty and help fix nations through foreign aid and development assistance? Joining me today to discuss some examples from his research on the impact of U.S. assistance on Haiti's economy is Michael Kastner, who's a master's student in economics here at Troy University and a graduate fellow with the Johnson Center. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Sutter. It's a pleasure to join you for this show.
Well, before we get into talk about Haiti, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, yes, I'm a native from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So far, I've been studying economics for about 7 years. Financial crisis was a big influence on the reasons that I do study economics. So when I do see people in poverty, I get the urge to research it, find out what's going on, and that's kind of the case with Haiti.
And the research we're going to be talking about today was contained in a couple of items that you wrote for the Foundation for Economic Education, right?
Yes, that is correct. One was on crop dumping, and the other one was on sweatshop labor.
And okay, so let's get into talk about this here. But when we get started here, let's first off let's remind everybody exactly where Haiti is and tell us a little bit about the history and background of the country.
Yeah, Haiti is a island nation that borders Dominican Republic in the Atlantic Ocean, and so a lot of the issues kind of fall all around Haiti. There is no pocket of good economic institutions in Haiti. So when you look at Haiti, you just look at an entire island of corruption, and then you have the Dominican Republic, which kind of wants to deflect any Haitian corruption.
Now, in the other areas there of I guess the Caribbean, so it would be the Caribbean there, where Haiti's located. Are any of the other island nations there doing better than Haiti, or are they all doing about the same? Okay.
All of them are doing better than Haiti. Haiti's probably in the worst situation. Only places in the world that you can look at doing worse than Haiti are probably North Korea, Venezuela. There are very few nations doing worse than Haiti. And
this isn't a new situation in Haiti, is it?
Unfortunately, no. This goes back hundreds of years. Ever since colonialization, it's a real it's been an issue for them throughout their history. Starting with colonialization, Haiti was used as a slave economy largely. After all the slaves were killed off in Haiti, we had to import African slaves to actually do all the work. And under a number of different regimes, you had Spanish, you had the French, and that is kind of left Haiti in a bad institutional situation for the last few centuries, really.
And then we also mentioned the fact that Haiti has suffered from a lot of natural disasters as well. I mean, most significantly in recent memory would be the terrible earthquake in 2010, which I have to say, I do a lot of research in natural disasters, and I wasn't even aware that Haiti faced a significant earthquake risk like this.
Yes, and that's some of the great research we do here at Troy is trying to figure out how to most efficiently recover from natural disasters. So looking at Haiti's 2010 earthquake, the government initially came out and claimed 500,000 people had died. See, this claim was largely untrue. Haiti actually lost 80,000 people. Tragic, terrible tragedy. But the government purposefully magnified that number up to 500,000 just to try to receive more foreign aid. So Haiti does have a ton of problems with these natural disasters, but it has also been an area where leaders of Haiti have used to try to attract more foreign aid.
And I think it's also the case that buildings in Haiti weren't built nearly as well as in other countries. Part of which is due to poverty, but part of which is also, I think, as we'll see, related to institutions as we get into that. Now, on top of this, or maybe not on top of this, but also related to the Haiti's economic difficulties, has been sort of its political history. And during a big part of the 20th century, Haiti was ruled by a couple of gentlemen known as the Duvaliers, Papa Doc and Baby Doc Duvalier. So tell us a little bit about the political side of Haiti's situation.
Yes, these men were unfortunately rather insane. So some of their actions were a little bit, let's just say, tragic for the Haitian people, because when you have a country that depends on corruption, it's mostly feeding off of the citizens. So you have a predatory regime. When you have this type of predatory regime, people lose faith in the state. They lose trust in the state. And that's long been the condition. The Duvaliers, they have been disposed of since then. We have, again, replaced them, though, with people who are either related to them, associated with them, or just associated with people in political power. So people in power in Haiti today are the people who have been in power in Haiti for many years.
And the Duvaliers, I think, even though Haiti is a poor country, the Duvaliers managed to take a lot of the wealth that was there and leave, take it out of the country. I mean, the Duvaliers lived a very lavish lifestyle, didn't they? Certainly.
And that is the problem. See, the government doesn't seem to respond to the citizens. They don't have to live like the citizens. So just because you have citizens in poverty and going through all this suffering doesn't mean that the political leadership is suffering. Even if we try to impose sanctions, their government's still going to be living fine.
Well, okay, so there's a little bit of the background on Haiti. So if you're a citizen of the United States or citizens of the other European countries, the developed nations or first world nations, and we look across the world and we see nations that are much poorer, it's natural for us to want to aid them. It's also natural for us as economists to want to ask questions about, well, why is it that some nations are rich and some nations are poor and some nations seem to stay poor? Asking those questions as economists is sort of the field of development economics.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at the field of development economics, especially as it's around back in the 1900s or during the last century, did development economists see a role for the government or for the state in helping to help lead economies forward?
Certainly. Governments, United Nations, World Bank, they've all seen a role, and they've all taken a role in trying to develop these third world countries. The problem is most of their methods have been ineffective in actually achieving development. So looking back on it, we can see, okay, well, if injecting money isn't developing this economy, why is it not working? And for the most part, it's because the institutional foundation within the country is not set up in a way that promotes development. When I say that, I mean not only the government institutions, but the soundness of other institutions, soundness of money, everything. So can you trust the media? Can you trust anything? And if you can't, if they have bad institutions, injecting money is likely just going to fuel those institutions, make them stronger.
So if you've got a nation with a corrupt government,
yes,
and you have foreign aid coming in, well, the foreign aid is going to go to the corrupt government leaders.
Yeah,
and it doesn't end up helping the average person. And so, what were some of the development strategies or actions that were used during this period of where we thought Western governments could lead, or development agencies could lead or lift poor nations out of poverty through financial or other types of development aid?
There was all kinds of methodologies used in this, from the Export-Import Bank to the International Monetary Fund to USAID, which is sort of what I cover. So all of these institutions have their own ideas on how to promote development, and they all work together. Some might pursue, okay, we need to give these people food. We need to feed these people. It's a good intention. It's just the way they undergo that policy is completely wrong. So there are other ways that they think that they can plan development. When I say plan development, it's kind of gives you flashbacks of like the Soviet era when centralized economies were more, common. So what they say is, okay, well, it looks like Haiti needs this industry. So they try to impose this industry, and then when it doesn't work, they're going to try to blame the Haitians. But really, it's the planning itself. If you don't allow for entrepreneurs, if you don't give Haitian individuals the freedom, the incentives to actually develop themselves, you're actually putting them in a worse position, in a more fragile state, with a stronger, more corrupt government. So you're really destroying their economic system by trying to develop their system. And that's the most frustrating part, is that everything we do to try to develop them seems to make them worse.
So there's been a change in thinking, I think, amongst development economists about what actually is the key to growth and prosperity. And certainly when we look at rich or wealthier or first world countries, we see that they have a lot of capital and technology. But we actually now look at something beyond this. So something we already hinted at in terms of institutions as being more important. So tell us a little bit about this new thinking.
Yeah, so institutional framework is largely what is going to allow for development. If you have bad institutions, meaning that you have a government that's corrupt, you have private property that can't be protected, private property that is constantly being taken by the government, you can't trust it. Therefore, you don't make the investments necessary for development. And this all falls back on the integrity of the institutions. If you don't have integrity in your institutions, specifically things like private property, rule of law, then you're going to run into all kinds of problems with development. And this has kind of been the new foundation, particularly with Austrian economics, development economics. Even mainstream economists have admitted their wrongdoings of the past, like a William Easterly, for instance. He's kind of seen, what are the best and worst practices of foreign aid because he's had the experience. But it has taken time to learn from experience, and unfortunately, in the case of Haiti, we really haven't learned from our experience. At least we're not showing that we've learned from our experience. And that's what's frustrating. And I know some of your research is on FEMA and New Orleans, and they actually, you could say they learned from their experience and that they've slightly improved. In Haiti, it has not happened. They have not learned from their experience. They have not improved. And we have continued the same practices over and over again with the same results, where we have a fragile, weak economy in Haiti.
So I guess just a little bit more on this whole lack of property rights. So in a nation like Haiti, you're not going to see whether Haitians or foreign companies want to come in and invest and build factories and bring in modern technology if, say, the rulers like the Duvaliers could end up just stealing that factory or stealing that wealth from them, right?
Yeah, just trying to obtain a piece of land in Haiti is going to take you several years. So imagine that. Imagine you want to buy a piece of property. If there's 100 steps, 100 bureaucratic steps in between you owning that piece of property, that is not a good environment for investments. Therefore, things like that are what are more important to address than just injecting money into their economy. Because you might as well be throwing it into a wastebasket on fire. That's
okay. So let's get into some of the recent actions that the U.S. has taken toward Haiti, and because in your research you suggest that some of these actions that were meant, I think, probably to try to help Haiti, could have actually made things worse. And let's get into talk about this. And one of the first ones you talk about is idea with peanuts. And so that might seem a little odd because if you've got a poor country, you might think that especially peanuts have a lot of nutrition. What could be wrong with giving free peanuts to poor, starving people?
Sure. Yeah, we're talking peanuts here. What could go wrong with peanuts? But something does go wrong. Starting with the United States, inside of the United States, currently we have 3.2 billion pounds of peanuts in reserve. 3.2 billion pounds. You can't even imagine that. We have silos lined up filled with peanuts. So instead of allowing us to sell them to our market, and because that would lower the price and we would get lower prices, and that would actually end up hurting our peanut producers, we decide to take those peanuts and ship them, disguise them as foreign aid, and ship them to Haiti. So we took 500 metric tons of our surplus peanuts and we shipped them to Haiti. At this time, Haiti said, no, do not send us those peanuts. We do not want those peanuts. We have peanut farmers. You're going to put our peanut farmers at risk. We are going to lose our jobs if you send those peanuts. The USAID did not care. The USAID sent those peanuts. So imagine being a peanut farmer and you go to the market to sell your peanuts. When you get to the market, people say, we don't need your peanuts. The US sent us a bunch of peanuts. We don't need to buy your peanuts. So then the peanut producers in Haiti don't get the money. They can't hire people. Money will not spread through the economy. And it sort of uproots the industry that they had. And it's unpredictable as well. So there's all kinds of issues that come along with this. And it all starts with the foreign aid policy of trying to ship peanuts for below market rates or for free. It's not like our farmers are trying to sell Haitians peanuts for cheap. It's not like our U.S. American peanut farmers are trying to sell Haitian peanuts. That's not the case. It's the government takes peanuts from our farmers, and then the government sends those peanuts to the Haitians. And that's where it goes wrong.
Right.
If there was free trade, it wouldn't have come to this.
So and I think this is an important point to emphasize here. If American farmers could grow peanuts and ship them to Haiti at a price, or the quality of our peanuts and the price they were selling at were out competing the Haitian farmers, then it would actually be good for Haiti to want to import peanuts from the United States. But that's not what we were doing, right? And it's sort of hard if you're growing peanuts in Haiti to compete with zero-priced peanuts, so to compete with a competitor who doesn't have to charge anything, right?
Yeah, it is very difficult. And what also compounds the issue is that if these peanut farmers do lose their job, we just talked about the private property, actually switching industries is extremely difficult. So you can't just switch from peanut farming to, say, farming sugar or farming or creating a new business or opening up something else. You have to go through the whole bureaucratic process of doing so. So there's a lot of distortion in that market.
And Haiti had a lot of peanut farmers, right?
150,000 peanut farmers. They might be children, they might be doing it on their part-time basis, but at the same time, those people rely on those peanuts for income. And, peanuts are sometimes the universal symbol of nothing, but in this case, paying me peanuts is a good thing. That they want to get paid, and our policy makes them not be able to receive money for what they do.
And once you push on this and you get below, it wasn't just humanitarian purposes that were involved here. It was related to a policy the United States has had in a number of our agricultural products for a number of years, or a number of decades, really.
Yeah. Yes. Right now, agriculture, they say, either we need to eat more at the higher prices, or we need to send this food to other countries. It totally ignoring market freedom altogether. They just say, okay, well, we need to eat more or send it to other countries, rather than just releasing the supply into the market, which I do think would be the best thing to do. So these agricultural policies have been around since the New Deal in the United States. A lot of them, and our surpluses keep building every year. And we're continuing to try to pursue these types of policies.
And it's not just with peanuts. There are the crop price supports that end up being quite complicated
Yes.
for other things like rice and sugar that are important crops in Haiti as well, or used to be in the case of sugar.
Yeah, and so the rice market, we did the same thing that we kind of do with peanuts back in the 80s. And this was after 1985, we told Haiti, we pressured Haiti into economic trade liberalization, which means that they were going to allow for free trade. But the problem is the United States wasn't going to allow for free trade from itself. They were going to subsidize our farmers, our rice crops. And what they did is they provided rice at a below market value, and Haiti had this huge rice industry that was completely wiped out over like a 10-year span because of our U.S. policy. And this is a small nation, so it's very volatile to our policies. And it's not necessarily that we have to be acting in the best interest of Haiti,
Right.
but it's the fact that we're not acting in the best interest of ourselves. So it comes to question, if we're not acting in the best interest of ourselves and this is hurting Haiti, maybe these aren't good policies. And in terms of sugar, the sugar industry is one of the heaviest subsidized, lobbied groups in the United States.
Yeah.
So we don't allow other countries to send us sugar.
Right.
Or we do, but only a certain
Very
percent.
limited. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we provide import tariffs and quotas and all that sort of stuff to prop up prices.
Another recent policy you've talked about, that you wrote about recently, is effort by the United States government sort of to like force sweatshops on Haiti, as you termed it. Explain for us a little bit what happened here.
Yeah, so the idea was, for me, is I said, okay, well, if agriculture is not producing development in Haiti, sweatshops should produce development in Haiti. I've seen this. I've seen really good work by Dr. Ben Powell. He's done great work on sweatshops before. And typically, sweatshops give rise to the service industry, a more prosperous economy. When I looked at Haitian sweatshops, they were not producing the type of development that is typical to sweatshops. So I said, there has to be some sort of underlying issue that is preventing these sweatshops from actually achieving good. Turns out, tons of problems. It's an industry of force in Haiti. And when I say force, I don't mean that they have a gun to your head while you work, but I mean, they'll show up to your farm, Haitian government will show up to your farm, and this is with you provided U.S. money to fund these types of actions. They'll show up to your farm and say, hey, come on, we're going, you're leaving your house right now. And they'll pull you from where you live, your house. They'll pull you out of your house, your farm, take you off, put you in a government structure, housing, and then they'll demolish everything you've done for the past 20 years. Doesn't matter. And then they build a sweatshop on top of that. What's wrong with that is pretty much everything. Because first, you took away these people's most preferred option for what they would want to do. You did not negotiate with them at all. There was no voluntary bargaining between these parties. It was, okay, get off your property, here's a little bit of compensation, this is what we're gonna do. And that's kind of what degrades the institutions in the first place. So that is how sweatshops were forced on Haiti, and it's interesting to look at the policy that led to this.
So how is it,
how's the US involved?
because to this point it sounds like all stuff that would have been happening in Haiti. So how is the U.S. policy tied in on this?
So we decided that sweatshops were needed in Haiti. We decided that because we saw Bangladesh successfully develop using sweatshops, and we said, okay, well, if Bangladesh can, have garment sweatshops and produce development, Haiti can do the exact same thing. So we have policies that explicitly direct funding to these garment sweatshops. Not only that, but we directed USAID to build a port and a power plant to support some of these facilities that are also funded by other U.S. programs. So the U.S. State Department, the Haitian government, they all sort of work together. And this sort of creates this environment of corruption, where you're just contracting out to the Haitian government, who then expropriates land from individuals. And this is all sort of a US-led scheme to produce development in Haiti, but it's completely failed. For instance, in the Caracol Industrial Park, which is what I focused on in Northeast Haiti, this was largely a government scheme funded by US taxpayers. Some of the private investors were, a South Korean company and the Clinton Foundation. So the Clintons have been tied to this for decades, going back to Bill in the 90s. So this experiment has largely failed. When we think that we know what's best for Haiti, we sort of forego what those people know, the Haitians know, as what is best for themselves. They have the local knowledge. Haitians can produce development themselves. We shouldn't treat them like they are less capable of, producing, feeding themselves. They are human beings. We should treat them that way.
You mentioned this earlier. I do want to expand on it a little bit. There's this idea that Haiti has a low degree of economic freedom, and when people in Haiti get displaced from their jobs, whether it be in the peanut industry or when they're building an industrial park, there's a really big burden on Haitians to try and find something else to do productive. Explain how the lack of economic freedom factors into this.
Sure. The Heritage Foundation actually ranks Haiti as one of the most repressive governments in the world, particularly in the Western Hemisphere. So when you don't have economic freedom and you don't have the ability to, say, start a business, to make a certain exchange, to switch industries, you're not going to be able to actually produce anything. You're not going to actually have long-term investment plans. Everything's going to be focused on the short term. You're just focused on surviving the day because you don't know what's going to happen next. And the government continues to this day to expropriate land for the purpose of development, but really it's just to put money in the hands of the cronies in Haiti. So the economic freedom is largely what is responsible for the failure of development in Haiti.
Or the lack of economic freedom. All right.
Yeah, the lack of exactly, the lack of economic freedom.
Well, we've said a lot of things that have been sort of critical of what the United States has been trying to do. Is there any hope, or can you offer any positive suggestions or anything that we could do that would help along this process of development that's been so slow to come to Haiti?
Yes. Sometimes the best thing to do is nothing at all. And when I say that is give power back to the Haitian citizen. There are a number of things that are kind of in the works, where we are in the midst of pulling back UN peacekeepers. So in 6 months that program hopefully will expire and UN peacekeepers will leave. They've been causing problems in Haiti. We have shifted our policy focus under this president away from Latin American development. So I think that less government aid will be going for the purpose of development, which actually crowds out and hurts private individuals from helping. Maybe the Red Cross can go and help more, or have more success helping, I should say. And then just the ability to exchange freely is really going to be key for Haiti. So having, some sort of freedom to actually trade with the United States, I think that would really help out. Unfortunately, it doesn't look good for Haiti. They likely will be a country that continues to have problems, but I think that the U.S. can somewhat help them by just leaving them alone, and that is.
Well, that's often the best advice. Sometimes do no harm, as the doctors would say. Well, thanks for coming on. I think it's been very fascinating and enlightening. And thanks for joining us. Join us again next time for another EconVersations.